First, you're going to start with a pork roast, and I have put my Instapot on saute, so we'll let that heat up, and I'm adding about 2 tablespoons of avocado oil to the bottom of the pan. And it takes a few minutes for this to really get hot, and then we're going to add the pork roast to the Instapot. And basically, I'm just browning all of the sides. I'm going to show you that in a moment. Meanwhile, I'm going to season with salt and Paul Prudhomme's pork and veal magic seasoning. And that just gives it a wonderful flavor. Be generous with the seasoning and with the salt. And I'm going to pick up the little bit of extra, and I'll season the other side. And by that point, our Instapot will be hot. If you don't have an Instapot, go get one. They are fantastic. I'll be able to cook this pork roast in about 30-35 minutes. So we're just about ready to add it to the pot. Okay, this is sizzling hot. I wish you could hear it. And I'm dropping the pork roast down into the Instapot. And I'll let that brown for about 6 to 7 minutes, kind of moving it around a little bit, but I'll keep an eye. Okay, so we've been cooking every side, including the ends. I just kind of want to get rid of the pink and give us a nice color on the outside. Then you're going to remove this from your Instapot, and you're going to add a cup of liquid. You can do water like I'm doing today, or you can do broth if you have it, and scrape those the debris off the bottom of your Instapot. That gives it a lot of flavor. And then our next step is I'm going to add the rack to the pot. And then we'll place the roast back in, and I'm going to set it for about 35 minutes. I like pork to be done, and this one was a little bit frozen, so I definitely want to cook it long enough. So we'll lock that in and get it started. Now I'm going to show you how to make barbecue sauce from scratch. And the first thing that we start with is 1 cup of ketchup. And of course you want to use a good quality ketchup in this because that's the basis. Then take some apple cider vinegar. You only need 1/4 cup of that. And add it to the ketchup. And y'all, after you make this sauce, you're going to quit buying it in the bottle. I know there's tons and tons of barbecue sauces out there, but it's really simple to make, and then you can adjust everything to your taste. So just added 1/4 cup of brown sugar, and I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of honey. And that's just to sweeten it up. This barbecue sauce is a little bit tangy because of the vinegar, but it's also sweet because of the brown sugar and honey. So it's got just a really good balance. Now we'll add just a little bit shy of a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. It's pretty strong, so I didn't want to overpower this sauce with that. And then we'll add some lemon juice. I like to juice my lemons when I have a bunch in the fridge, just to have the lemon juice ready. And then we'll start seasoning. So I use just granulated kosher salt. I'm going to do a couple of cracks of black pepper. Stir that around. And then finally, I'm adding some garlic powder to the mix. And let me give that a good stir. And I'm going to let it kind of bubble, just a low boil. And then I'll lower the temperature and let this simmer for about 10 minutes. And this is just going to be a great addition to the pork sliders. And I'll actually show you a couple of ways to use this sauce and to serve the sliders. So the pork roast is done, and initially I'm going to take it out. I've reserved the liquid on the side in case I need it, in case I feel like this is too dry, but actually it's fallen apart. It's really, really hot. You can see the steam coming off of it, but look how easy it is just to cut it up. And then we're going to shred. So I'm just going to initially get it cut into some big chunks, and then we'll start shredding. To shred, I like to use 2 forks. So you just get in and just start pulling it apart. And I'm really looking for bite-sized kind of chunks. And so we'll shred all of this, and then I'm going to show you how to dress these beautiful slider buns that I've got in front of me. All right, so some people like a more dry slider with absolutely no barbecue sauce, or you can drizzle with a little bit. Or then if you're like me, I absolutely love to mix the pork with some barbecue sauce. So I'm going to take a couple of portions, put it in this little bowl, and then I'm going to add enough sauce to coat the pork. So we're going to mix all that up. And that's typically how it will be if you go to a restaurant. Some restaurants tend to kind of drown it in sauce, and I don't like that. I just like it coated. And I'm going to actually just keep shredding a little bit, and then we'll add it to the buns, and I'll finish dressing it. This really doesn't need any other condiments besides the barbecue sauce. That's really enough. I am going to add some shredded cabbage to it. That is just, to me, one of the best things that you can add to a handheld or to a slider is cabbage. So I'm going to finish. I'm going to add a little bit more to these, a little bit more pork to these other sliders. And as you can see, that pork roast made beautiful, like 4 beautiful sliders, and I've got plenty of meat left over for leftovers, which is always nice. And then I'm just going to drizzle one of the sliders with some barbecue sauce. And that way you can kind of control it if you don't want it too wet. I'm just going to do a little drizzle. And the other one I'm just going to leave plain, because the pork roast is fabulous. So thanks for cooking with me.